Hello everyone, it's Lindsay and today I'm doing it. I'm diving into 12 by 12 pocket pages for Project Life. I have never done anything like this before. For my Wild Hare kit for January, I specifically asked for items that I could use with Project Life. If you're wondering what I received in that, you can check out my unboxing. I'll link it down below. I did get a petite kit, so I've kind of pulled some other things in to work with this project this month. I knew that I was going to be documenting a week where my husband and I went to celebrate our anniversary at the beach, and so I've kind of pulled some items to go along. I imagine this video is going to be rough and it's going to be some trial and error because, like I said, I've never done pocket pages before. I already have messed up and printed my photos at the wrong size, some of them, so I'm just going to learn as I go along. What I'm going to do is I have not done my intro page for my album yet, but I am going to do a 2-page spread for this trip just because I have so many photos and stories that I want to tell, and so I am going to do two 12 by 12 layouts. I will link everything down below that is not Wild Hare Kits. If you're wondering what I use, that'll be down there, and as well as Wild Hare Kits, so you can grab a kit for yourself if you'd like. And I do need your help. If you guys know of a Photoshop template where you can drag and drop 4x6 and 3x4 photos into the template to print on 8.5 by 11, if that makes sense. I print on 8.5 by 11 photo paper, and I'm trying to do photos with a white border, and I messed up somehow. My 4x6s were good, they came out 4x6, but my 3x4s weren't quite right, and so I am going to have to mat them before putting them in the pockets. But if you know of an online, not an online, but like a Photoshop template, please leave a comment down below and steer me in the right direction to make my life a little bit easier as I go into this project. So I have already kind of pulled out and printed my photos from the trip. I've also pulled out some cards from the cards that I got from the Wild Hare Kits, journaling cards that I think that I'm going to use. I am going to be backing my 3x4 photos with some pattern papers. So I have this one here. This is Little Dude from Simple Stories, and it has colors that are kind of similar to the Project Life cards that I'm using, but I've also from my stash pulled some items from the Here and There collection from Crepe Paper because the colors are similar. So I will, as I do the process and put things together, I'll let you know what I kind of pulled from my stash. What I have over to my side here is this little kit, or this little box from IKEA, and so I store my Wild Hare kit in here, and then I've also pulled out just some things from past kits that I've gotten from them that match my project this month. Some things like alpha stickers, you know, some more things from past kits that I think will kind of work together, even some Maggie Holmes stickers, and just was trying to go with the teals and blues and grays for this layout. So I've kind of pulled all that together, and that's what I will be working with. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put you on fast forward. We're going to dive in, and we are just going to make this happen. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've gone ahead and laid out all of my photos where I'm gonna fairly certain be sticking them. I will move some of the cards around, and you can see some of the photos I did turn to black and white just so the colors would stay kind of cohesive. They're all kind of those blues and grays, little pops of yellow from my husband's shirt and that eel. And so a couple of them just weren't quite the right color, so I did turn those to black and white. And then here I'm taking this paper from my kit this month and cutting it down to 3x4 size, since my 3x4 photos were not 3x4, and backing my photos. Now, in the end, the spread ends up looking a little busy, and I think it would have been less busy if I hadn't had to mat these photos, but I did go ahead and decide to just mat them all with the same paper. So I'm not adding, you know, 6 or 8 different pattern papers to this layout. I'm trying to keep some consistency. Overall, I think I'm just not used to working in this format and this big. So 2 12 by 12s is a lot of pattern, a lot of die cuts, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of journaling, a lot of photos. So it's not the like clean style that I'm used to, and I think it's just going to take me a while to get in the groove, but I am so excited to have these all documented and stuck down. Normally we would take this trip, we probably would take some photos, but they would just stay on our phone. We might share a couple on Facebook, and then that would be it. The trip would just be stuck on our phones and in our memories. And so I love that we now have this in a documented, binder that we can go through and look at again. So I'm excited. I know scrapbooking isn't for everybody. It's definitely not a cheap hobby, that's for sure. But there are some cheaper ways to do it, especially Project Life. I feel like is a way more cost effective because you can just stick with cards and a few embellishments and really just focus on photos and journaling. So I do like that. So here I'm pulling out this 6x6 pad from Here and There. This was not in my kit this month. However, I have received a lot of Here and There collection pieces in my past Wild Hare kits. And so I kind of already knew I liked the colors. The colors were going to go well with the kit that I did receive this month. So I did pick up a couple extra pieces of the Here and There collection just to kind of pull together. So you can see I used that Papa Yellow, and then there's that Corally Pink, which I was a little unsure about, but I was trying to kind of tie in also like our skin tone color a little bit, which I know sounds crazy, but there is little pops of like coral in the eel photo and things like that. And so I wanted it to be not just blues and teals. I wanted this kind of punch of this reddish coral color. So now I'm going through the cards that came in my kit, trying to fill in this blank spot. And this ends up being where I kind of rearrange things in this center section here. I'm just having a hard time with there not being any empty space. All the pockets are full. There's a lot of color, a lot of pattern. I may need to just create some blank white 3x4 cards with journaling lines and print them off and just have those in my stash for moments like this where I just feel like I've got too much going on. But I'll show you how I fix that in just a second here. But I'm going to start working on the top left 4x6 card, and that, or actually, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. I'm going to work on the bottom 4x6. I'm working on those two 4x6 patterns. The top one is going to be where I put, week 1 and the dates, and the bottom 4x6 is just going to be a filler card. And so what I have here are the die cut pieces from the Here and There collection. Again, this was already in my stash, and I never even opened them. I've had these in my stash for a couple months. And so I'm going through and just pulling out things that are in the same colors as the product that came in my kit this month. So I've kind of picked out the die cuts I think I'm going to use. And then I remembered I had this set of Pink Fresh Studio like fabric die cuts. This was from my kit from the Wild Hare Kits, I think back in like August or September. It was during the summertime. And it has these blues, that pop of corally red. And so I'm going through and kind of pulling some of those out as well, just to have some different textures. So it's not just all, paper die cuts. So now I can go ahead and start assembling these cards. I have these alpha stickers. These came in my kit this month. They are kind of a fun, like whimsical font in a deep blue. And so this is going to spell out week 1. And I'm still, like I said, this is the very first time I've done this. So trying to get in the groove of like how I want my numbers to look and how I want these cards to look, and whether I want them consistent throughout, the whole 12 months of the year, or I don't know. It's going to be an adventure, guys. We'll see. I know some of you veterans that have been doing this for years, you're probably looking at this like, don't worry, it's going to be all good. You're going to get in your groove. But it's like riding a bike for the first time. You just don't have a formula down yet. And so I'm getting there. So this die cut piece was this fun, like little kind of like luggage tag or travel tag. All the Here and There collections all like travel themed, and so I'm using the space on there to add the dates, using some puffy tile alphas from my stash. And so this is of course the last week of December, first part of January. Now we did have some other things happen this week. We had a New Year's Eve party with some friends, and I thought about mixing all of that in, but instead I decided just to focus on this trip. I didn't want too much going on. In future weeks, I'll have a mixture of, different days, events, and things like that. But for this one, there was just so many photos, and this really was like 3 or 4 days of the week. And so I decided just to focus on this particular trip. So Now I'm kind of struggling because I realized how I laid out those die cuts was exactly the same setup as the way that I had laid the die cuts in the top left-hand corner. So you can kind of see I have formulas for how to layer and cluster things, and some of you have asked about that, and so I just didn't even realize I had clustered them exactly the same way. So now I'm trying to go through and change it up a little bit and not just have all paper pieces. So I remembered these color cast design wood veneer pieces from a past Wild Hare kit that I received, and I had a few of them left, so I pulled them out. And again, because I did a lot of traveling this summer, a lot of my kits from the summertime had travel themed products and kind of earthier tone products, and so they really went well with my petite kit this month. So stuck down that wood veneer piece and finished that card up. Now there's this little adventure die cut piece, and here is where I kind of give myself some breathing room, some empty space. So I've pulled out a piece of acetate and cut it down to 3x4, and I'm going to attach that adventure card to that piece of acetate and let it kind of float in that pocket. Now I should have done something like this on the other page too, just to kind of balance it out, but this just kind of gives me some breathing room, gives me some blank space, which I needed. So just stuck that as a filler card. And then here is one of the journaling cards for my kit this month. Just added one of those fabric die cuts. And then I was kind of waiting to start my project because I really wanted to get a typewriter or some way to do my journaling other than my handwriting. And it just hasn't happened yet. So I said, you know what, just dive in, use your handwriting. If it changes in 2 or 3 weeks into this album and I'm, you know, typing or printing my journaling, that is okay. It's okay if it's not consistent. So for now, it's going to have my handwriting. So I've moved on to the second page, again pulling out some of the papers from the Here and There collection. There are some blue papers that came in my kit this month, but the blues weren't quite the right blue for what I already had going in here, and I didn't want like 10 different shades of blue on this spread, so I'm sticking with that Here and There collection. And I actually had that yellow and cream like diamond paper in a 12x12 from a past kit. So I knew I liked that one. I've used it before, and so I went ahead and just pulled the 6x6 to use for this spread. This 4x6 card is going to be like my title for what is happening here. So this is our anniversary trip. Again, I'm going to pull in one of those color cast design wood veneer pieces and then some alpha stickers from my stash and fill that in. Now I'm going to apologize right now if you can hear any crazy machine noise. They are drilling a brand new well like 15 feet to my left at my neighbor's house, and it has wrecked my filming schedule this week. I have had to stay up super late to film, trying to get voiceovers done, and of course I'm halfway through this one and then they start drilling. So we're just going to power through, guys. We're going to power through. I'm going to try to edit it out but we'll just see what happens. So here it's not anything different really from the left-hand side. I'm just pulling some more of those die cut pieces, and you can see this same kind of layering style structure. It's almost like an L shape with a little smaller piece kind of, you know, at a diagonal. I don't even mean to do that over and over again. It's just like a comfortable way for me to layer die cuts. So we're just gonna see lots of that probably. I love this little travel bucket list card. Again, it's the perfect color to match the pocket cards that I had gotten in my kit this month. So I just filled out not necessarily bucket list items that I had in mind going into the trip, but just some things that did happen. Like we saw sea otters in the ocean. We went and ate at our favorite dinner spot. And so instead of just writing whole stories about that, I just wrote those as my bucket list items. And then again, just a little bit more journaling. We just had so much fun. You can see we've got that photo of us with our masks on. And then this card here was a lot of fun. So it was a little quote card, and it was perfect because my husband is hilarious. He never takes photos. He never does videos, but this whole trip he was going around videotaping all the different exhibits for my kids and like narrating it in like a documentarian style, but with like his funny dad jokes. So there's all these birds and they're sleeping and they're all like on one leg, and he's like, boys, look at these one-legged birds all together. You would never see this in nature. And just like, I don't know, you have to be there. His sense of humor is just too much, and he was just doing it no matter how many people were around us. He was just doing all these funny things. So I made that little quote card with a mixture of alpha stickers that I had in my stash, and that just really kind of brought in some of the little bit of humor that we experienced over those few days. So there is a look at my first week of Project Life. I'm so excited. If you want more close-up photos, definitely check out the Wild Hare Kits blog. I'll have more close-up photos over there. Grab a kit for yourself if you haven't already. It's great for projects like this. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Check out the description box for links to everything used in the video today. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.